Mzala. Tshwane FM 93.6, your station, your station. Every day and every hour, I've been thinking about you. Only you, only you. Yeah, only thinking one deep. It's a way we are sweet. It's a way we are moving. Oh yeah. Yes, I was a kiss in your
Don't get stuck in pain. Voltaren, 2 times faster pain relief.
alone. Isi ukhona na, awusiyothambile uyashalala. Ayayele ushumina, awusenkhathele ushumina, awusiphelile ushumina, awusenkhathele ushumina.
Now I'm gonna write you Brenda, right?
Mara Brenda Mus.
Oh,
Can't even Brenda.
really attend that.
Yeah?
Really attend. Really for me attend.
Yeah. This one. This is my solution to not changing phones.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I just got my other SIM card that was lost. I found it really already fast more.
No,
But it's the 0841, not 082. I had to buy a new phone. Because the Apple, I think I've used it too much.
Then when you are very lucky, you went to interview the director after graduation.
Yeah. It's proximity. Too much. So we're really live. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, but at least we show house sanitizer, so we sanitize it. Yeah. I want to tell you, Corona was sports. What was sports now, West?
People were serious about this thing.
Yeah. Sports, you're not in China, you're not
Yeah.
I'm going to say to you, nice.
What's trust? Yeah?
I don't know trust is difficult. That's sports.
Yeah. What's trust?
We're talking the safe rate.
I could never have my
Oh! How are you preparing for this thing?
Oh, I don't know what
Yeah. Hey, I saw her. She's on the road.
Actually, you're supposed to interview her.
I realized,
Yeah.
I think he was the one who was supposed to go. I just don't know what happened. I think just in between that, but
That is our investment. Almost special leave. Therefore, we must get as much
coverage on that. Yeah, no, correct.
Then what in the same year?
I know. Living inspiration here.
Yeah.
It's but what about face?
I said, no,
when you work hard.
we thank God against all odds.
But you're not stopping.
No.
You must publish.
Yeah, how can that's why people would say the article that you're gonna write, I'm gonna give you all this information. People will collapse.
No.
Well,
you must bring it.
Yeah, because you see, it is created in such a way that in future, how many the opportunities to the AP and then full professorship, you should be there within that barometer.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. You don't have to just be in academics to qualify for that.
Now it's 5 journal articles.
Yeah.
4 international conferences. Masters cum laude.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the Vault Center Ecotourism. Yeah, ecotourism. I was this course supervisor. Therefore, in terms of that, I do meet that.
Yes, no problem. No problem.
But going forward, it means I need to continuously push the general articles also.
Hey. But when I've got a lot of things to write about.
And the co-supervision with my professors. Yeah.
And where's the which department?
The business school.
Oh, organizational. Yeah, no, what's my
even is an idea.
Hey.
What's
party yeah, we should regard what's up game. I still by incompetent.
Yeah.
But and it's their first job lecture. And also, Pelagana Coco Bonamo, they die. Even now, I can't get over when I'm a kid quiet. There's people who don't have to more than
I'm never won't say a genius of
Nali level cure Rafael. I knew I love Nali level friend. Oh, Nali level free. Yeah, that was only to one click because of all the only about 6 along Baladio. Because of people who say go given there's this lady Kiman can pay
yeah.
but yeah. I thought of it, but I've just discovered about more half it.
There were times I thought I would do listen and I went to book. I have been my coach or
Oh yes, yeah. I'm here to buy the book. I think
must also actually interview.
Yeah, no, I'm supposed to interview him because I'm taking COVID. But now that we've been discussing, consider that side pillar where I come from.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then it still been Tabang at least went. Yeah, I think he finished full of time. But at the time when we arrived, he was still also case about this guy. And then normally I think Patino got Salika, Oh, Lena is still with us, I think. Oh yeah, because I remember I think I saw his name as well. He was the people below that with us. And then there's this lady Warufi. They could keep a coach. Yeah. And then there's there's still one the other two. So when I speak Lily, there's people and never ask me. And then now this year, Nabolong Bantu, you collected the
COVID came.
But now I was asking, can't we then use previous data? Why we are on another way? Because I don't think next year we're going to be having fans. The chances are slim.
Hey. If look at the international phenomenon, and looking at what we were talking about, the first World Cup. Still, there are a country like Spain and then even New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're going to allow some fans, but I think a maximum of 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, if later now we can have a certain number that we can accept, you'll be able to do it. Understand?
But you see now, we're benching on waiting until next day July.
We don't know. Little now, it's just we can't say it.
Yeah.
We don't know whether it's by China. Because we don't know the next one. Wow.
Or even participation. So I was saying to them, we need to come up with another plan.
Then the crowd say available.
I wanted to say I'm friends with doctors now. In actual fact, I wanted to say I want to know your next student was serious.
But now I think great. Wife is that I think you must know unhappiness was pushed by this guy.
I know, it's a very, very sad case.
I know what I'm indefinitely or
Which way?
No, get out.
I think it's indefinite. It's indefinite. The way I heard it. You know, now I'm saying to you, you must not be angry outside. You must be angry if you have not achieved what you had in your capacity to achieve. Because of the reality is, whether you do it tomorrow or you do it next year or after the year, you want to do it, you have to do it at some. But it's important. When that time comes, what is it? You know, the lady who said taught me something. The most important thing about leadership and leadership is that you must already have in mind where you're going. Because when you exit strategy, afterwards, you perfect. They must surpass what you've achieved.
You are very brilliant. Power, one nothing more structure. It wasn't blame us. Because I can imagine I had 3 deputy directors position. Already each of them upward mobility of my guts. You understand? Unfortunately, they could only give me 2, but with an HOD level. But looking at the nature of the work that we will be doing, we can evaluate those positions and still be a deputy director and a post level 6.
Right.
I don't want to one away.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. We must not be threatened by the other headwinds. You must actually appreciate that because of the inspiration.
Yeah, there's young ones coming up who choose about the Mzala. Where should they go?
And also, you see, the problem would be if you're not ambitious.
Yes.
I was ambitious. People that they don't. Let's jump in. Very connected. Let's see. Your listening pleasure tonight. It is a Thursday evening, like we do it all the time. It is that sports corner. We're talking everything sports related on today's show, and of course, interesting things that are coming through. But just before we get into the sports, man, just news making headlines there. Fraud and corruption suspect Angelo Agvizi has been arrested, or rather, has been rushed to hospital after his first night in prison. His bail application was dismissed by the Palm Beach Magistrate Parliament, Vincent Smith. That was amounting to at least 800,000 by Bosasa. So just one night has landed him in hospital. I could imagine with the many years that are yet to come. A rescue plan for the SA's flag carrier has yet to get off the ground. That is since government has not provided promised funding, with the upcoming budget looming as a crucial test for its future. The state-owned SAA had limped along for a decade thanks to regular government bailouts, but last December, Pretoria decided to let it sink into administration in the hopes of a profound restructuring to stanch the flow of the red ink and wipe away its debts. At this point in time, the President Cyril Ramaphosa indicated that at least 100 billion had been allocated by government to stimulate jobs, and the president has unveiled a combined plan to help the country's ailing economy and further decimated by the effects of COVID-19. I think part of that big story, and we're joined now by the newly graduated director of sport. We used to call him Director Udumo, but he's now Dr. Shadrack Nthangeni, and we're going to call him Dr. Udumo. Doc, good evening.
Good evening, the pioneers and the listeners of Tshwane FM, and thank you for having me.
Can we just do this for you, net for now?
Oh, hallelujah.
37 minutes after 6 o'clock, the Director of Sport and Recreation, Dr. Shadrack Nthangeni, is with us. I nearly said Mr. Shadrack Nthangeni. I'm happy that I'm getting it right. But you know what's the funny thing? I actually have clips where I used to call you Dr. Shadrack. Do you remember?
Yes, you've always prophesied about this achievement, and your prophecy was not just in vain. A lot of hard work had to be done to be where we are today.
I'm so excited. You'd swear that I'm the one who has graduated with the doctorate. But look, this is great news. I must tell you that this is great news because you've done very well, and I think for that part we're very proud of. We're proud of you, the people around you, your colleagues, and those that work around you as well. I think this is the manifestation of some of the assistance that have come through. The assistance sometimes comes in various ways, comes in ways where people don't become difficult at work. So you don't have to stress about them. You're stressing already with your work. But just tell us how, I know that the feeling is ecstatic, but generally, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I'm humbled by this achievement. Something that has been coming for some time. You know that I used to work in the academic department.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of the workload that one will have, you'll start something and you'll stop. You start something and you'll stop. But eventually, 2017, we decided that no, we need to register for this doctorate in organizational leadership, and we should give ourselves at least 3 years to see us completing this. I had a very good supporting team led by Professor Vinez Naidu, and also the statistician, Dr. Kubai. Therefore, this is an amazing team that will inspire hope in the midst of difficulties and major challenges. And also I had a very good and supportive subordinates, staff members in the Directorate of Sport. We are talking about the environment that is so vibrant. The environment is so conducive that you will live, it on autopilot when you know that things will run itself. And also it's important to have a good family supportive structure for you to be able to achieve something of this magnificent.
Speaking about, the Department of Sport, I've just remembered that they do have a Facebook page, actually, and will definitely be live on that page in just a short while. But yeah, man, this is exactly where we are, 40 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock. If you just jumped in, this is the Capital Talk right here on Tshwane FM 93.6. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, he's going to tell us more about what he's up to, and we're going to talk everything sport with him. Hey, man. I have him in studio here with the hope that because I've interacted with him, this doctorship will enter as well in me.
No, it's coming. And now it should be me who will be prophesying on your life. You've always been prophesying in my life what should happen. Therefore, I need to return the favor back to you.
Let's take a quick break and we'll continue this lovely discussion.
Have spoken. Unlock room 912.
The computers for the Lebogang.
No. I hope about things.
Hi, how are you?
No, the guy.
Whatever.
I know you know the treat.
Whatever. Okay, but I see everything here.
Oh, wow, thank you. We must continue. How's your day?
So good. Just let me try to hear your beautiful voice for man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, man, tell that guy, man. It's not everyone that wants to run alive on air. The lady is like you.
I will know they will never remove you.
Thank you so much.
Room 912 weekdays on Tshwane FM 93.6.
Mr. Zuma, the fact that you took a shower after having unprotected sex with an HIV positive woman, believing that it would minimize your risk, has really angered AIDS activists. What is your response to their criticism?
But if you have been in the kitchen, my dear, peeling onion, you wash your hands also. What was funny about washing your hands after doing something, after washing yourself?
But Mr. Zuma, AIDS is a big problem in this country. And saying things like taking a shower.
Hygiene is a big problem in this country. Clean yourself.
Yo, what up, it's your boy Questa, the car, good boy, your day one, K1 representative, and we out here, you're tuning into Tshwane FM right now. Mind out. Wait, where you going? Where you going? Stay right there. Sorry about that.
Hello, what's going on? This is your boy Mr. Zuma, and you are listening to Tshwane FM. Zaga, Ziggy,
Here's something interesting. "43 minutes after 6 o'clock. If you just jumped in, we're also coming through to you live via the TUT Sport Facebook page. If you are tuning in there, thank you so much for your listening pleasure. Otherwise, we are on Tshwane Space FM Space 93.6 on YouTube. Just check Mokete Radebe there. I'm joined by the Director of Sport, that is Dr. Shadrack Nthangeni, speaking to us at this point in time. Great things that are happening through that department. And I think now that we've also spoken about the great things that are happening in your personal life, I think it's also something that we can never get enough of. Doc, let's speak about your trip that is supposed to happen of recent, going to China. Tell us a bit about that.
The World Student Games, they happen every 2 years.
Yeah.
Therefore, last year we were in Italy, where South Africa has done remarkably well.
Yes.
Where we finished in the top 10.
Sure.
That was a resounding success.
Worldwide,
yes.
Yeah.
And now we are going to China in a town called Chengdu.
Yeah, man.
Unfortunately, this is going to be a very small delegation as compared to other huge delegations that we have taken.
Okay.
Therefore, in the past, we'll be taking almost 180 delegations.
Yeah.
And now we should be taking roughly just around 120.
Okay.
And the sporting codes like the football and the rugby, they have now been removed from the World Student Games, but there will be sort of a World Cup of universities.
Sure.
Therefore, one day, TUT, after doing well in the continent, you may see TUT going to represent Africa as a top university when they are having this World Cup for football.
So let me understand this properly. You are saying there's going to be sort of obviously the national university sporting games,
yes.
and then take them to then rather continental in Africa,
yes.
and then the ones that win continentally will now go and play worldwide. Now
yes.
the World Cup.
Yes, that's what's going to happen.
Just when you are still there, universities are also regarded as the development of sports in the country. My question to you: why is it that we do so well at that level, at the development level, yet when you go to senior level, we do not perform so well? And I know that it's not all sporting codes, but in some sporting codes, why do we not perform so well nationally?
I will tell you that the issue of the administration of sport in the country, it's a serious crisis. That if we do not become sober and be able to take the bull by its horn, and be able to confront this challenge that we are having, we are having a gloomy picture of what's going to happen with the future of our athletes in this country. Because in the universities, you've got specialized personnel who look after the athletes, and they ensure that they perform to their optimal best. But the moment they go at the senior levels, at the federation, because of the politics that are at play, sport is in disarray. You can see what is happening with SASCOC. Every week there is a letter of the acting president attacking the other acting president and all that. And that, unfortunately, is not healthy as far as sport is concerned in this country. Maybe it's about time that also within sport, like we are advocating in the politics, that it's about time that the young people take up reins and responsibilities, because these are the people who are well trained to be able to execute what they know best.
Just thinking about the introduction of young people, I think part of the challenges that a lot of people have cited is the lack of transparency in the administration and management of sports, and I don't want to be specific to a specific federation or organization, and that from time to time makes us not to know what exactly is the problem, and that is why perhaps you are unable to also assist. But I mean, you are well researched in the space of sports. I mean, I remember, I think in your masters you released a thesis around the sports participation, I think among girls. And today we've seen girls doing very well, especially in the former uncharted sort of fields in terms of football. My biggest question is, do you think that academics and research perhaps can sort of provide us with answers with regards to the other parts of sports where we're struggling?
Definitely, Mokete. And I was just trying to link that with the thesis that I just completed.
Yeah.
The thesis that I've completed, which is organizational change in universities, looking at the Gauteng universities, which is TUT, UJ, VETS, and UP.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at those that are participating in university sports and university cup competition.
Yeah.
The study in organizational change management is the first within the African continent.
Sure.
Therefore, you can see that there is a dire need for the academics to research about issues of leadership in sport and leadership qualities. Because without doing research and recommendations being implemented, unfortunately, we're not going to move forward. We're going to have commission after the other, which will never yield positive results in terms of the growth of the sport in the country.
Doc, I'm going to put you on the spot. I mean, COVID-19 has been the one thing that we've been talking so much about. I mean, it's no secret. It has impacted the sports fraternity tremendously. And obviously academically, there must be, some sort of, knowledge that is going to be developed to make sure that in the future, when such disasters happen, we don't get to be this affected. But just on a personal note, looking at how competitive sports has been affected, and with the recent, especially your SAB and ABC, Motsepe League, the controversy around that. What do you make of all that?
Mokete, we all never wish for COVID to come.
Yeah.
But COVID came.
Yes.
And the COVID is here. We might live with this disease for the next 2 or so years.
Yeah.
And until such time to the stadium, and also certain sporting codes whereby medically or scientifically you will not be able to administer the sport in the right way, those codes or at that level of participation, we might have challenges.
Yeah.
Therefore, coming back to the challenges that were presented to us by SAFA, whereby they took a unilateral decision that in the SAB, on the ABC Motsepe, the log standing declare final, and teams will be going to the playoffs, and the same with the SAB. That on its own, it does have some legal ramification.
Correct.
Is that I believe that not many of the clubs would want to take them on, because right now there's no time for you to go through the legal battle, because you need 2 teams that should be promoted from the ABC Motsepe to go and join the Great Africa, which that league should be, the resumption of that league is somewhere in November. Therefore, there is unfortunately no time for us to be dilly-dallying. We must just face the reality and see how we can deal with the challenges that has been presented before us.
51 after 6 o'clock. You spoke about, and I like the fact that you brought in how fans, were highly affected. I mean, you and I know that the foreseeable future, might suggest that spectators may not be the order of the day. Look, we know that spectators, in as much as they play in a very important role in terms of the morale of sport, but there's a business element within that as well. And we already know that ticket sales are going to affect a lot of profits from football clubs. What could be the other ways that perhaps clubs can make up for that money?
Unfortunately, there's no other avenue except, let's say, looking at the merchandise of the clubs. And then you all know that in the country, there might be 3 or so teams that can really do well in terms of the selling of their merchandise.
Sure.
As for the opportunities for them to make money through gate taking, whereby you know that when Chiefs comes at Loftus to play Mamelodi Sundowns, at least 45,000 tickets will be sold. When you go to FNB Stadium, Pirates and Chiefs, you know that 89,000 tickets will be sold. We're talking about millions that you can make just through gate taking. And that money goes a long way in terms of assisting other clubs that are battling, like teams like Maritzburg United and other teams. I'm talking about the PSL only. They know that when they play against the likes of Pirates, Sundowns, and Chiefs, which are the crowd pullers, they know that they are able to pay salaries, for a month at least, just with the gate taking. But right now, that opportunity has been withdrawn because of the COVID situation. We shouldn't forget about our mama who sell, food and other merchandises during the games. Unfortunately, that kind of business opportunity has been taken away from them. Some of them, that they are breadwinners by just doing that. Therefore, we can put ourselves in their shoes just to understand the impact of COVID-19 in their business.
Doc, I know that most of these things that I'm asking you is things that you are well capacitated to answer, and I'm going to go deeper. what then becomes the role of venue naming rights, sports sponsorship? What kind of sponsorship should clubs be looking at now? I'm looking at. I mean, if you look at Big Vet Fest, it was now sold, and it was their main sponsor. We saw Highlands Park struggling as well with Larry Bringstone selling it once more in the same way he sold Platinum Stars at that time. So what then becomes the role of sponsorship in sports, and maybe those that are entrusted with getting sponsorship? And I know that that's your strength, actually, getting sponsorship for football. I'm already selling you to. If Tim Sugas is listening, here's the main sponsorship.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the era that we are in right now, is quite challenging, even for new opportunities to come, because you all know that the sponsors, they want to invest where they know that the visibility of their brand and the interaction with the supporters, those opportunities will be presented. Unfortunately, where we are right now, those opportunities are not there. Therefore, you find that many companies will be hesitant, to get into sponsorship deals that they may find themselves just being giving, but there is no return on investment, because sponsors, they're looking for a return on investment. They said, we're giving you this. What is that you're giving us in return? The sponsors, they're looking for your database. What is that they can do with your database if there is no opportunities for them to network during a live and competitive match? But this is the time also where we need to be creative and start using other platforms like the social media platform, where you can still interact with the supporters. And I appreciate what the PSL has done during this difficult time, and they could still go and get a huge deal with DSTV to become the title sponsor for the league. Therefore, that was something massive for Dr. Koza and his team to achieve that.
Just on that DSTV sponsorship, it was a lot of mixed emotions with regards to that from a number of people. With the fact that, they're saying, they could imagine a SABC one presenter, having to present a DSTV, or a Mokete on Tshwane FM saying this is the DSTV, and they felt that that's actually it goes all the way to even ambush marketing to a certain extent. But from a business point of view, what did you make of that deal?
From the business point of view, especially looking at the fact that the sporting fraternity was heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, there's a saying that beggars cannot be chosen. However, in this instance, this was a good business deal for the PSL, because they are coming with billions of rand, whereby it could have been difficult to get Bidvest, because other people have thought that Bidvest was selling Bidvest vets because they wanted to take over as the main sponsor of the PSL, which was not the case. Therefore, we should ask ourselves a question: who would have been more likely to replace ABSA? Because you must understand that ABSA pulling out was also a business decision. Because they felt that they were not making as much money as they should. Look at Capitec, which has been rated as one of the best banks in the country. And who's Capitec sponsoring at this present moment? No one.
Not even this show.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
For 58 minutes after 6 o'clock, your friend has left. I know that we were supposed to speak about that, but you were busy preparing for the graduation. He is now in Egypt, and I know that he's going to win the league. He's very close to that one. But there's a gesture from him. He called in Calvin Johnson, who has been without work. I think that was quite emotive, so to say. We hardly see that in our circles, where when one has, went up, he just brings in the ladder to fetch the other ones. Well, what do you make of that? Even his move to Egypt.
I must tell you that Coach Pitso is a very smart coach.
Yeah.
And I know that many people in the country who support other teams, they hate him for him being very vocal, especially celebrating black coaches' success, because he's an epitome of black excellence as far as the coaching career of our coaches in the country is concerned. And for him to have led the team of Mamelodi Sundowns caliber, so well, and he won so many major trophies with them. Something that you must remember, that when he went in there, when Coach Johan was fired, Sundowns was really struggling.
Correct.
And Coach Pitso came and changed Sundowns' fortune for you to become one of the most successful teams in the country. And the gesture that he showed, remember even before Coach Calvin, he was going with Coach Rulani. Unfortunately, he felt that he's more loyal to the team than what should happen, the prospects of going to Egypt. But to take Coach Calvin, whom we all know that he had a heart attack while he was coaching Black Leopard, because the environment was not conducive, he was so stressed, he has not been working, and Coach Pitso said, come, I want to revive your coaching career. That takes a special man to be able to do that. And we must take our heads off to Coach Pitso. And I can tell you that this weekend is in Morocco. We're facing, the multi-giant in Morocco. And I believe that he should be able to win the semi-final also, and go all the way to the final of the CAF Champions League. And we believe in Pitso.
Sharp COVID-19. I know you would have been there by now. It's a minute after 7 o'clock. I'm with Director Utumo, that is Dr. Shadrack Nthangeni with us in studio. He's the Director of Sport and Recreation at the Tshwane University of Technology, and we are speaking to him on this lovely evening. Of course, we're celebrating his recently achieved milestone where he became a director, passing his PhD in colors. Doc, you didn't actually take us through. I remember you just mentioned what your PhD focused on, but what is the full title of the study?
It's an organizational change management, university sports and cup competition among Gauteng universities. And to an extent, I also looked at the strategic analysis to see if these events are presented at a professional or at an amateur level. Therefore, it was actually 4-in-1. This was a very huge study.
So what were your findings on that?
My findings were, I've recommended 2 conceptual framework. The first one is the organizational change management framework, whereby I'm recommending that varsity sports and varsity cup, they must match. Because the more they run at a separate structure, the more harm they make. I'll tell you why.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's an interesting point, but please tell me why.
I'll tell you why. As part of the research question, we're looking also as to what is the contribution of varsity sports vis-a-vis varsity cup. And then we found something very tough, a better pill to swallow. That the rugby, which in terms of the support base cannot be compared to football, which football is because there's a confusion. Most university and most people, they confuse varsity sports and varsity cup. Varsity cup is rugby only. It's the varsity shield and the elite, which is the 8 cup competition. And varsity sports, that's where you get football, athletics, netball, hockey, competition. They get over 1.2 million as preparation fee. Varsity football teams, they get around 73,000 preparation fee. Therefore, if you go to stats, there is a 93% difference to what is allocated to rugby as vis-a-vis to what is happening in football. No wonder you'll find that the rugby players, they will get stipends,
Yeah.
because that has always been the culture within rugby, that they get the match fees.
Yeah.
Therefore, and people will be expecting that the director Nthangeni must be paying the soccer guys also. Where do you pay them with the 73,000 that you get?
And the bigger challenge about that is, now, given the history of this country and this continent, is that with racial segregation, the vast majority of students and universities, rather former traditional universities that are in the Varsity Cup, they are white in color, and now the vast majority of players that are playing football, and this is also the issue of the attraction of the sport. I mean, a lot of young black boys are attracted to soccer, and then a lot of white young boys are attracted to rugby, right? And now with rugby receiving more funding as opposed to football, it then creates a conflict, because people are going to say, is this a racial segregation, which is not, but you get the perception that it's bringing. And I'm glad that you're actually raising that. So in my study, I was also asking myself in terms of why should there be a distinction between Varsity Cup and Varsity varsity sports, so to say.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you've raised, I think, some of those things. But the other thing that I wanted to find out was, and before we just move to more analysis, was, now in your study, what were some of the limitations that you picked up?
Some of the limitations that I've picked up, you remember that the study on its own, we've indicated that the limitation was the fact that it was only focusing on Gauteng University.
Exactly.
Because we couldn't get capacity to do it
nationally
in 9 provinces.
Yeah.
They would only focus in 1 province.
Yeah.
Therefore, the future research studies should be able to look at other provinces and see whether the findings here in Gauteng will be the same.
Correct.
In Western Cape, will be the same in the Eastern Cape. You understand?
I hear you.
Therefore, those were some of the limitations that you could not focus on the entire, South African university population.
Doc, let me bring you to this controversy in terms of administration and pure ethics with regards to the development of sports. Is rugby and cricket, because they're currently doing well nationally as well, and if you look at how they're just united in terms of are they, more committed administratively as opposed to other sporting codes that are not doing well, i.e. Football, maybe to be specific. I'm asking you this specifically because I want to understand on whether is the issue enough funding and infrastructural development for these other sporting codes as opposed to either rugby and cricket, or it's really just an issue of pure administration?
I wouldn't call it pure administration, because the success of any sporting codes also lies in 2 instances. It's administration and it's also technical.
Okay.
Therefore, if you've got a good technical team, you are able to do well, even though administratively you can be very poor, you can be very pathetic. But if you can set up a good technical team, you'll be able to get results. And I can tell you the rationale or the reason why I'm saying that is the shenanigans that are happening even in cricket now. There's this Fonzani report that is implicating almost everyone within the cricket fraternity. But cricket has been one of the codes that was doing extremely well, is that we know that we call them the chokers, because when they go at that level, things will happen. Therefore, also in rugby, we all know about the scandals that will be happening in rugby. But if you have a good technical team, you are able to get good results.
I want to ask you something that it has always been on my mind, but now, because I've got this freedom of asking you, even from an academic point of view, it's why is it that we've got, I think his name is Andre, the guy who was playing in the Varsity Cup, and he was in the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup. Why is that we have that guy who was in the Varsity Cup, who was in the Sevens, that is playing at the World Cup, yet in the varsity, then in football, in Bafana, we don't have a Themba that came here and went on to play there. I think the reason I'm asking this question is, often at times, I would see these big clubs loaning players and giving them scholarships to go and play there. But I've never heard of a player that was loaned by a specific football team, or maybe players, 10 players that are said to be loaned to a specific university by a specific football club to say they are studying here and we are monitoring them for our first team. I know that at TUT produced so many players in the PSL, but that relation. I mean, if you look at UP, for instance, they've got a professional, setup where these players are being brought to them, not that they are, going to produce them. Why is there no such a relationship in football?
I didn't want you to go even to the Andre guy. I wanted you to bring it closer to home, where Mwanambi, the hooker, was a former TUT Vastica player,
correct,
who went and represented us in the winning Springbok World Cup team.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will tell you that the problem that we have with football, is that you get to be in the technical team of the senior national team. You only focus on the big three or the big four in Gauteng, and you even forget that. There's a team doing well in Maritzburg. There's a team doing well in Venda. There's a team doing well maybe in Bombela. You even forget about it.
Sure.
Therefore, let alone going to the likes of Varsity Cup, Varsity Football, and even ABC Mutipe and Glad Africa. Because in other countries, you can get players even from that level.
Yeah, no, you've answered me. I hear you. I think if I were to continue, I'll just be asking you for something that I remember at some point in one meeting you said that you're often called to a war where people have got bazookas and you're only using a nail clipper. 11 sent for us. What do you make of that?
It's a very interesting appointment.
Yeah.
Especially the statement before the appointment of Coach Steve.
Yeah.
You'll remember that they said Rulani and Manova, they are the joint coach.
Yeah.
But where there are difference of opinion and all that,
Mangoba must emerge.
Mangoba must emerge. And now, you have Coach Steve coming through as well. It will be a very interesting combination of the three coaches. But I must tell you that I believe in black excellence.
Yeah.
And the three coaches are very professional.
Yeah.
And I believe for the next 2 years at least.
Yeah.
And for the 3 trophies that they've won, it's for them to lose them. Sure. But any team that wants to win that must go and fetch it at Klaroko.
Now I had a submission, a strategy for Nthangeni. What I was saying to him was, because there are 3, let's have one who's going to focus on the PSL, and have one that is going to focus on Africa and friendly games, and then we have one that is going to focus on cups only. In that way, it will be better. Got level training, they know that they've got shifts. Hali kene ko Rulani ka 6 a.m. Lo kena ko Mangoba Mngiti ka 2 p.m. Belia ko Steve ka 7 p.m. Alpha psychology on so there's difference. That was my view. I hope you'll take it. But
unfortunately, I will speak to the board. They won't take that.
I'm saying that is the best way. In that way, everyone would feel important.
No, the 3 of us, they are very important, and they will get well with the players. They've assembled a very formidable team.
Correct.
To get more than 11 players for the new season,
sure,
where you've won a treble the last season. You must see that is a team that means business. And the team that struggle, you find that they couldn't even sign more than 5 players. So, you understand? Therefore, that just shows you that Mamelodi Sundowns means business again in this new 2020-2021 season.
Speaking about struggling, Kaizer Chiefs struggled. What did you make of that performance towards the end where they lost it to Sundowns? Because we need to be honest, they blew it.
They blew it, and I think you must give credit to Peter.
Yeah.
How he played the mind games and how he was able to get his team to scrabble through, results. it's not about the best football that you could have played, but the results at the end of the day matters. The 1-0 that they got, the golden arrows back pass.
Sure.
That for me, it changed fortune for them. They went and lost to Baroka.
Yep.
We thought, Chiefs has been resurrected. Then Baroka went and spoiled the party. Therefore, for me, I believe that it was all because of Pitso, because all that Chiefs needed to do was to get the maximum points.
Yeah.
And then until 69 minutes or so, they had it in the back. There was Sundowns only led this championship
once and won it.
Yeah, 20 minutes, for the whole entire season, and they won it.
Gavin Hunt, what's your take on him jumping to Kaizer Chiefs? Do you think he will fit in perfectly there? He's a good coach, yes. I saw him at SuperSport. Yeah. I think he did well at Wits, but that's a different caliber for me in terms of the playing style, the expectations from the club. But at Kaizer Chiefs, do you see him doing the same that he's done with SuperSport and Wits?
I'll take him even back before he even came to SuperSport.
Yeah.
I know Gavin when he was at Black Leopards.
Sure.
When he has done extremely well under difficult conditions, coaching Black Leopards, it's not a child's play.
Tamo, you have to, balance with the fact that these guys are speaking Chivenda.
Yes.
And you need to learn the culture of the fans as well.
But knowing Gavin, I think he was eating pap and Mopani Wednesday in Venda.
Yeah.
Went to SuperSport, he did extremely well.
Yeah.
Went to Vets, won league and other competitions. And now I believe that Mhlongo has made a very good appointment of bringing the caliber of Gavin Hunt as a coach. Therefore, I believe he will do well. Unfortunately, they don't have good material, and especially with their ban of not procuring or buying new players while they're still waiting for the ruling of the appeal. But I believe that TUT.
I think had he not won that match, he wouldn't have got this job because of Drop would have won this.
my opinion is that even if Coach Drop has won the league, he should have still been and Vets emerged victorious on the day. But that is my instinct. That even if he had won the league, because towards the end, you could say that it's a coach who has lost it. The kind of football that he was playing, everyone could. Even someone who have never studied coaching, like Dr. Kubai, he could have analyzed and know how are they going to play their next match. And you plan against, the strategy, and you close that up. No options.
Yeah, no, 18 after 7 o'clock, and we've just went way beyond the time that we requested the director for. But we just want to wrap it up. But just a few ones as well. We've got new teams coming into the Premiership now. We've got Moroka Salus. We've got TTM in your area. We've got Tim Sugazi, your friend as well from Pumalang, coming in. Now I'm not worried so much about Moroka Solos. They came in straight. Team Sugazi, they were battling in the Third Africa Championship. TTM during the playoffs, we saw that they also battled. My question is, do you see them surprising us in the Premiership?
I really don't see them surprising us. But Coach Kuluko will tell you that football will kill you.
Yeah.
Results come unexpectedly.
Yeah.
At times results come because of what you've invested in the team in terms of preparing the team and the likes. But Swallows, because they came through an automatic promotion, they've earned their status to be there.
And they've actually made good signings as well.
Yes. Therefore, but as for TTM, I think TTM and TS Galaxy and the likes of Black Leopards, we'll still see them struggling. And even Amazulu, as much as they are under new administrative personnel, but those are the teams that you may still see them struggling this season. But the team that will still compete for the crown at the end of the day, Obviously, Mamelodi Sundowns is for them to lose it.
Yeah.
But I see Pirates coming out very strongly this season. Kaizer Chiefs will still be there because nothing much has changed from the team that did so well better part of last season.
Yeah.
And the likes of SuperSport United, they will always surprise you.
I'm actually rooting for SuperSport. I'm of the view that they stand a great chance of winning the league.
Yeah.
I think SuperSport it's one team that has done quite well for me in terms of building. I know that sometimes they've got ways of just going the other way, but in terms of building, I think they've done quite well. I think it's the most consistent team for me in the Premier Soccer League over the years. I think I'm just loving their consistency. Doc, I'm gonna let you go. Just a few things that perhaps you'd want to sort of say to the listeners at home, and especially to also the people that have played a great role in acquiring your qualification. I know that your family is among the people that have played a greater role. Any ways that you want to say to them and to maybe those that are listening at the moment?
Especially to the Tshwane FM listeners and the people who follow Tshwane FM. I would like to say, TT Sport, we are preparing to reopen our activities.
Yeah.
Because there's opportunities for the playoffs for our men's team, and also the and other opportunities that we will announce in the near future. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening which are still under wraps as we prepare for the new season, because you know that we've got a football that it comes back this season being competitive, because now there's an opportunity for them to go and play in Africa. That would be good to see TT ladies football team going to the continent, representing South Africa and playing against the best in the continent.
Correct.
And also to say to all the people who have continuously supported me, thank you very much for always believing in me and my potential. And I believe that there's still more to come from the person that they know.
Interesting. I'm just, I was just actually thinking of how which team you might have supported when TUT was playing against Mamelodi Sundowns ladies, because of you're a supporter of both. But I know that that's a story for another day.
I was supporting Captain Hilda and their girls.
Yeah.
And they've made us proud.
Indeed. Director, thank you so much for being with us, and we're very humbled by the journey you've traveled, and we're very inspired as well. And we know that great things are still coming. But I just had you saying something. So the B team at the Pretoria campus is qualified for the playoffs and the high performance team.
Yes.
Sure.
Therefore, that's quite interesting, and we can't wait for that. And by the